Hi guys, and welcome to the Game Changer Show. My name is Uliana and I'm Digital Marketing Manager at Seedify. As you know, IGO of Game for a Living coming on the 9th of March. I hope you're all ready for the upcoming IGO. And today I'm going to have a talk with Manel Sort, who is CEO of GFAL project. We will talk about the project, about what's coming next, about future partnerships, what games to expect, and also Manel will make a small tour around the office of GFAL. Stay tuned. Hi.
Hi, Juliana. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Lots of things going on.
Sure.
But well, it's all good.
Yeah,
Right.
Preparing for the IGO? Ready?
Yes. We have a lot going on, really.
Yeah, same on the Seedify side. We're also working like crazy. And just before our call, I was playing Elemental Raiders, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that you're thinking about investing in our project. That's great.
Of course. I'm gonna use my all allocation, and I'm gonna be investor number one. I already know that you have been in the gaming space for a long time, and I know that you're pretty well-known person, and you have achieved some great success in the gaming industry, in the gaming space. But for our audience who still doesn't know you yet, could you please introduce yourself? Also tell us a bit more about your journey. How did you come to crypto space? And also tell us a bit more about the project you are building right now, which is GFAL.
Yeah, for sure. So I started my journey in the games industry when I joined Dynamic Multimedia back in the 90s. So I used to be one of those who participated in something that we called in the 90s the demo scene, where you will make images dance with music. So that was a set of competitions that happened throughout Europe, and I was in one of those competitions, and they offered me a job. Then I started as a game developer and worked for many companies, first in Spain, and then I went to the UK, where I worked for companies like Codemasters or Team 17. The last project I worked on was one that's called Worms, and I was the lead programmer for PlayStation 2. And I specialize at opening new markets. So I opened the market of .com games. I opened the market of the first smartphone games with Tablox Deluxe 3D, which was a worldwide hit, #1 on the App Store. Then I opened the market of Facebook games with Millionaire City, which was the only game to make it to the top 5 besides Zynga games. Then I opened the market of, I was in the transition to opening the market of mobile with Galaxy Life, that if you look at the game, it's pretty much the same as Clash of Clans back then. But then, because basically when you sell a company, you have a time where you have to stay and then you can do other stuff. I was trying to do a new startup, and then the guys from King reached me out and said, "Would you like to join us?" And I said, I'm more of an entrepreneur than working for a company, but they said, "Look, we can be partners, and you can do your own thing. We'll give you full empower you to do whatever you feel like." In Barcelona, I said, "Perfect, let's go for it." And then I started operations for King in Barcelona. 2 years later, our games in Barcelona created here were making more than $1 million per day. Those was with Papa Bear, Diamond Digger, and Bubble Witch Saga 2. We will also release another hit with Bubble Witch Saga 3 later on. And all of that success triggered the acquisition by Activision Blizzard. So then we became Activision Blizzard King, and I was a first vice president within Activision Blizzard King. We looked at lots of different projects, and I was assigned the work to work with Call of Duty and figuring out how to do the best possible Call of Duty mobile. At the time, I also started a unit that worked on game optimization, and you can see a lot of my work, because we publish about 20% of the work at the Nature magazine. So if you look for Manel Sort Nature magazine, you'll see the team of 5 that we did all this research to optimize games in a more of a scientific way, and worked really well. And then I also remember that, like in 2012, a friend of mine told me about the blockchain and so forth. He was a miner. And I couldn't see any application back then, but then I looked at all the new advances with Ethereum, etc. It's still very early days, just to be very clear, like really, really early days, but was already possible to do quite a few things. So then I got interested at opening this new market, because as I mentioned, that's one of my specialties, what I've done many times. When you open a new market, you need a new IP and you need a new business model. And that's a couple of things that are very hard to create in games. So we can cover all of that in a while if you want to ask.
Sure, that's going to be interesting. Wow, you have huge experience. And I guess you're a gamer yourself, right?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's my hobby. So I actually, once I retired, like after all the experience at Activision, Blizzard, etc. But I could not resist. I had to go back to games because that makes me happy. I really love what I do.
Right, amazing. Yeah, but I'm actually awaiting for Diamond Dreams.
Oh yeah, that one, I think you'll love it. I don't know if you have to see it. We have a version that's running on mobile and PC, and that looks amazing because it feels so fresh, the artwork. I mean, having Javier in the team and also all the other ones, like Javier is the figure, the leading figure. But if you look at even all the other artists, like you have people like Edus, and then you have Alex, Albert. I mean, all really, really talented artists. So I'm really happy and proud of the team we have here.
Nice, amazing. And could you tell us more about what exactly you're building right now and what is GFAL is about?
Okay, so when I started the company, my first goal was how we can make, like, first of all, is there any way that blockchain gaming can make the experience of playing games better? Like, that was the first thing that we looked at. So we looked first at what was there. I looked at what games are right now in the market, and is there any of these games that has a strong future? So I could spot a couple of issues from my perspective in the current games. One is all these games that do a pre-sale of NFTs, and then they also do require an upfront payment for the game. That from a sustainability standpoint is a challenging thing to do. Like I could not model how a game like that can come up with long-term retention. Maybe someone comes up with an idea for doing that, but I couldn't. The other type of a schema that I saw was schemas where you farm a token. So basically there's a game, the game has a token, and the token is farmed. I had the same issue. Like when I looked at those schemas, I could not see how I could sustain that for the long term. In the case of the NFTs, the issue I see in the long-term retention is because for generating income so that developers can keep working on the game, they require an influx of new players that buy these NFTs and so forth. In the other case, where it's about farming, the issue that I realized that I will have if I was doing a game like that is that every cycle that the players farm the token, only that token gets distributed, and the ones that will win the most token are going to be the ones that they either play the best or pay the most. So that will actually happen on the next iteration, on the next one. There will be a point that from all the players, only the top ones want to keep playing, the other ones will give up. So you have also a retention issue, and the game goes down. So in my experience, what I really wanted to do is to mimic what we created in the games industry. It was a huge path. Like if you think about it, what I lived in my career in the games industry, we started with premium games, and I could talk to you a lot about that and anecdotes about how it worked, etc. But that market was really against innovation. So it was a market that was very low and was really constraining the size of the industry. The industry at peak during that period was 38 billion. Okay. Now, some of us believe that if we give the games for free and we allow those who want to pay as much as they want, we will end up coming up with a business that's much larger, much bigger, and better for everyone. So that actually happened with free-to-play games, and now the free-to-play games market is 85% of the revenue of the 210 billion from those last year is free-to-play. Now, that transition didn't happen from day to night. Like you have the first free-to-play concepts, very early concept before the internet with ID software. Then it explodes more with once the internet is there with companies like the creators of Visual, PopCap. What they did was they will offer you, or we did that as well with Tower Blocks. We offered you the free version, and then if you liked it, you could get the premium version. Right. And then there was this massive breakthrough with what was Farmville. So Farmville basically created this concept that you will sell time to players. So we had to come up with ideas to have games that had a lot of time to sell. So that's, for example, in Farmville, what we did is, we did that with Millionaire City, but basically what they did in Farmville was that you'll have these crops that will take like hours and hours to produce, and you will buy that time if you wanted to. The problem is that we will start with a small farm, and then it will grow, and then it was so big that you will then really play. anymore. So we dropped that model, and then we created the model that's called now Games as a Service, and you can see that with games like for example, Candy Crush, or what we did in Barcelona was the Bubble Witch 2 and 3. Those games are level-based. So basically, as soon as you have levels, people have time to buy. And the other model that you have right now is the Battle Pass. Okay, that was, for example, applied also on Call of Duty. You have also the example on Fortnite, where it's a season-based, and basically every season you refresh the content, and people start from scratch, and they have time to buy. So that's where we were, and I felt like there was something similar missing in Web3. We needed a business model that has this value creation, whether it's through NFTs, through in-game currencies, etc., but some value creation that's sustained over time. And that's very important, because once you get that games as a service type of model, your game keeps growing. So one of the issues we see now in the market in Web3 games is that they go up and then they go down. Right. And the key thing to solve for us, like you were saying, like when I set up this company, what I had in my mind is like, how do we come up with a model that actually allows sustained growth? And actually, it's actually better. So we need to figure out how to make it better for gamers. And we came up with several ideas. The foundation of it is what we call NFTs 2.0 and Games as a Service 2.0. It's a really important part of it. We do believe that the esports are going to be the catalyst of all this transformation in the games industry. And we also have many other ideas for later on in terms of the use of blockchain features. On one hand, you have all the social part and social graph, and the other part has to do with what will be the user-generated content. So we have different steps and different ideas. In the short term, you can play at Elemental Raiders. You'll see a game that's been designed with this foundation. You'll be able to see how we integrate the Web3 model on top of Web2. That will be possible for people to play from the 13th of March onwards. So just in 5 days or so, you'll be able to try that out and experience that. That will be refined over the next iterations, and then we'll be releasing, we have 4 products in the lineup right now. So our goal and the reason why we set up this company was to show the world that Web3 gaming is actually better than free-to-play gaming. In the same way that free-to-play gaming, we showed the world that it was better than premium gaming in the past.
Nice, I see. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I used to play blockchain games last year. I played D-Race, Axie Infinity, Pegaxi, DeFi Kingdom, like you name it, so many games. And yeah, they all kind of have this Ponzi-nomics. So they start with so many people and with like really huge amount of rewards. And look at them now, like you cannot earn money in those games. You cannot buy anything, and it's not fun. So we spoke a little bit about Elemental Raiders, and I have mentioned that I just played just before an interview. But actually I'm waiting for Diamond Dreams. I believe the concept is a bit similar to Diamond Digger. Is it right?
It's more of a Candy Crush, I will say. Like Diamond Dreams is in terms of mechanics, so basically the Candy Crush, before Candy Crush, the biggest match 3 game was BG World. Okay, and that was a great game. I played it several times. It's a really good game. So we believe that it was time to do a new GWAL game, Match 3, because GWALs fit really well with Match 3 games. So, and then we created this experience where you'll be a billionaire building your billionaire mansion, and then you have your collection of really top luxury items and based on GWALs, etc. We are partnering with many of the top luxury brands in the world, and then we'll create this game, which is not only great fun, but also you have these really cool NFT GWALs. I don't know if you've seen some of the GWALs from Javier León, but they are really cool, like what he creates with, I mean, he's been working with all the top brands globally for doing the ads for the best jewelry brands in the world.
Wow. I cannot wait to see it. I saw the trailer. It looks amazing. And
Thank you.
Yeah, if it's going to be like Candy Crush, but like with real in-game assets, which is NFTs, that's going to be amazing. Wow. And they actually worse, I believe, a lot.
Yeah, and I think also what's really important is the game is very addictive. When you play it,
exactly.
I mean, I will look forward to sending you a build. We will be doing tests, etc. in July this year. I'll be working together again with Angus, who is the one that took Candy Crush from 0 to 350 million. he also left King, and he liked the project and say we have to market this together because this can be. He liked a lot the potential of the game, so I look forward to that. But I will keep it with soft launch for quite a while to make sure that we have really strong metrics by the time we launch it, and we have some real good partnerships to boost that game because it created a lot of interest because of first of all, the core mechanics, which are really good. Like a switcher game is one of the biggest genres. It's like when you talk about game genres, you have things like shooters, switchers. Basically, you have turn-based combat, but it's also really big. Like this is big genres that cover a large audience, and having that, it's creating a lot of interest among the game development community and investors.
Yeah, nice. But Elemental Raiders, it's already playable, and you guys currently have a tournament.
Yes.
Which is gonna finish on 8th of March, right? And you have huge prizes over there. And I've seen Seedify community playing a lot the tournament. I haven't joined tournament because of my workload, but I played the game. It's fun. The graphics is nice. It's very colorful, enjoyable, and even the music hits you. Like everything is there. It's fun. It's addictable. It's new level of blockchain gaming, I would say. I played Elemental Raiders on PC. Is it playable on mobile?
So we have PC and Mac now, and we will be releasing the first mobile version with a major partnership that will be announced on the 16th of March. And then in April, we'll be releasing in all the mobile platforms. That's going to be huge.
Right. And out of curiosity, how long did it take to build Elemental Raiders?
So now it's 18 months from, we started in September last year, like full production, scaling up the team. We have a really nice
How big is it?
Well, it's right now we are 31 people working on mostly Elemental Raiders because gaming is a lot about focus. From the 4 games, only 2 are developed here, first party, Elemental Raiders and Diamond Dreams. And right now the team is really focused on Elemental Raiders. I actually can show you if you want.
Sure.
But, yeah, okay. Because I'm in one of the meeting rooms at the office.
Show us everything.
Yeah, sure. So here we have the reception where we start, and then try not to disturb them too much. So here we have all the development team, the art team is over there. We have over there the marketing, and then at the back we have the designers and and also the partnerships team. So that's where
a pretty big office. The head office is in Barcelona.
That's in Barcelona. Yeah. That's where we are. Carrera Morales 31. That's where we...
So you mentioned it took you around 18 months to build Elemental Raiders, correct? And you still have Diamond Dreams coming, and after that 2 more games coming.
Yes. Well, actually, the 2 games that are done by third parties will be released in parallel. So we'll be released probably, I think in terms of order, we're going to have, for how I see things, we're going to have Elemental Raiders first, Soccer Legends second, then we'll have Diamond Dreams, and then we'll have this game like kind of Fall Guys, but in vertical.
Nice. Wow. So many games coming. And they
will be very fun and very different. So like different tastes for different people. Like some people may like one type of game, other ones another type. So, but what we want to make is all of them will be really, really fun to play and to enjoy with friends.
Amazing. Great. And who doesn't remember, guys, we have IGO coming on the 9th of March. So everyone, please prepare your BUSD to buy some GFAL tokens. Manel, could you please tell us more about GFAL token? Like what's the main utilities and how does it work in the ecosystem?
Sure. I mean, you have all the information at the white paper if you want more details. But if I had to summarize it for the answer, I will say like there is mainly like 3 different uses. First one is any transaction that happens at G4AL network. That's any transaction among any of the games we have, whether it's a marketplace transaction, an in-game transaction, or things like that. It's all paid with GFAL token. That's very important because if you think about it, If we get a level of success that's at some point similar to what I've achieved in the past or bigger, because I think the potential for Web3 gaming is even bigger, I've created games that generated more than $1 million per day. That will be a lot of need and demand for the token itself. So if you have this amount of trading on a daily basis, and that's pure revenue. This million was revenue, and Web3 usually you work with transaction fees, so the volume can be even much bigger. So that's a major use of the token, any transaction in the platform and GFAL network. Then we have a VIP system. We went through to make sure that the token was legally accepted by the current regulators, went through a lot of iteration with what's called Comisión Nacional de Valores, which is the current SEC, and they put us a lot of constraints regarding how we could implement the token. So we came up with this idea that made the token very solid, especially for the long run, because as you all know, we're going to have a lot of regulation going on, and we have to be very careful about tokens and how they are used, etc. So we came up with this idea to say, look, we have really good game, we have a really good use of the token. Why don't we create a token that's based on AirMiles, actually? It's a digitalized version of AirMiles. AirMiles is a system that worked for decades. It's really well proven to work. It's a way to create a lot of fidelization from your users, and that we believe it's a really strong value proposition. So we have a VIP system similar to how AirMiles work for the token, and that way also we cover really well all the legal part of the token in the long term. Then the other part we have is the governance. So people, we will enable in Discord, in our Discord channel, a group for those who have enough token, and then they can influence our direction in the future, because I think the collaboration about anyone that wants to make this a success is very important. Because, I mean, I can see as much as I can see, but there is some black spots as anyone that I have, and I think it's really important that the ideas come, and one of the most important source of ideas is the people that are playing our games in our community or hold the token.
Exactly, yeah. You always have to listen to your community. I need your opinion. Where do you see blockchain gaming in the future and GameFi space in general?
So within 10 years, I do believe that we're going to be seeing a similar transformation to what we saw in Web 2. So basically, I expect more than 85% of the revenues from video games to be versions of Web 3 gaming. So I believe it's going to be the main form of gaming. And that will be because when we move from premium to freemium, well, actually free-to-play and then free-to-play games as a service model, those of us who bet for that had at least I had a very clear rationale. It's like, if you give a game for free, more people will play it, and those willing to pay for it are going to be compensating for the other ones. There was a debate about the second part. Now it's proven that you make twice as much money than with a premium game. So if you release a premium game or you do the free-to-play version of that, now with us games as a service, you make twice as much money per year, but then also the income goes through many years. So in case of Web3 gaming, I see a very similar rationale. If I can play a game for free, and that for me is very important. The way I see it, Web3 gaming needs to be built on top of Web2 gaming. That's why it's so challenging, because you first need, releasing a free-to-play game that's successful these days is extremely hard. Okay, so for me, Web3 gaming is like, if you have a game for free, that you can play for free, but also gives you a potential return, more people are going to be willing to play it. And then those willing to pay for it, because they can get a potential return, are going to be willing to pay more for it. So that's the rationale that I see here. And as soon as someone figures out how to have a free-to-play game with Web3 features and make it more entertaining than a free-to-play game, I think that's going to happen. And I think that we are really close to show people what's our approach to make that happen.
Manel, thank you very much it was such a pleasure for me to talk to you. I know how successful you are. I know that you achieved a lot in the gaming space, and we can all learn a lot from you about Web3 gaming, about traditional gaming as well. And once again, thank you very much. I wish you success for the 9th of March. I'm myself gonna invest in GFAL token.
Thank you.
Wait for
really
it.
Appreciate it.
TG is on 12th, right? 12th of March.
It's the 13th at 11 UTC.
13th of March is TG. And Is there any plans for listings?
Yeah, so we have plans for listings. We're going to be announcing it in 2 days from now. So that will be on the 9th. And yeah, we do have plans for listings. I have to wait until then because of the press release, etc. To unveil it. But I think more or less will be the time when this video is published. But just in case to avoid this coordination, we'll be listed in a nice exchange at the moment by the 13th, once the 13th arrives. But also we have top exchanges looking at our project. I actually have a call today with one of them like 2 hours from now. The token will have really good coverage.
Wow, no doubts. So many partnerships are coming, more games are coming, listings on CEX is coming. I mean, why not invest? Everyone should. Okay, Manel, thanks a lot for a nice conversation and have a nice day.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.